Uh, uh, well, you see, CSR, as you know, is not a new concept. It's been there since a long time. In fact, most of the good work you see in the country, especially by leading corporate Tatas, I think one of the top institutes that you see in the country when you talk of labor laws. I think these came from the Tata Group and all that. And now, of course, it has become sort of a mandate, and there is a clear directive, and corporates all over the country, and they are supposed to do CSR, and actually as a legal mandate within certain parameters on turnover and profit, average profit of 2 years, and those parameters you have to do CSR. So I think I understand all of us are aware of these very basic fundamentals about CSR. Now, the focus of this session, as we were told, I think I request our respected participants to be on mute. I think there's some noise happening. Thank you. So the whole idea of how technology has impacted CSR. Well, technology has impacted CSR on several fronts. So today, I think quickly, I just want to share with you from my personal experience and basically share with you exactly how CSR has taken benefit of technology and how technology has impacted CSR on essentially 3 or 4 areas. Now, first is in designing CSR projects. Now, if you want, let's say, to do something in the area of greening the environment, and you just want to plant, let's say, about 100 saplings using a local NGO of 8 to 10% in one particular area, wherever you are operating. You don't need any, specific technology aid. It's a very small project. You can always do it without much of a technology. But now, the moment you want to plant 10 lakh saplings across 6 geographies using 4 or 5 NGOs, so that's where I think the whole question of managing data, the whole the question of monitoring the execution of the projects and ensuring that whatever investments you make in that particular project of planting 3 saplings, ensuring that the success rate is close to 80 or 90%. So that's where earlier, when you used to do it manually, you had to do a lot on trust at the ground level, what actually the people who are implementing the project are doing at the project site. But now when you have technology helps you in various ways. Now, again, in this particular example, managing data, you have technology like you can use drones now. Drones can actually, record the very day the saplings are planted. Intermittently, the drones can be used over a period of 1 year. You can actually have live footage of how the saplings are growing, how the people, who are actually supposed to look after the growth of the saplings, how they are functioning. You can collect various inputs on these projects. So when the scale and size of projects became huge, we all became dependent on technology. And today we have with us various types of hardware and software interfaces, which has helped us in designing the CSR project, in actually implementing the CSR project, and monitoring the CSR project, and later on getting feedback from the target audience. There also we can use various types of CSR technology in place. Just to illustrate again one live example, in the company I work for, we have implemented a project of providing computer education on a bus. It's a computer education on wheels, as we say. So we have a fleet of buses. There are 30 schools from day one till now, we have impacted over 15 to 20,000 school kids from class 6, 7, and 8 standards. Now, the entire project, there is technology from the very beginning of the project till the end of each life cycle of the project. As I said, the bus itself is a very modern, high-tech bus where we have fitted specific gadgets. And of course, we have taken benefit of laptops also. There is a provision of a library within the bus. The bus is tracked. The bus goes to the particular school in the remote village. So all data of the classes being taught, exams being taken, and the results and the understanding and growth of the project, of the students through this project, all these are monitored, captured again through data which is readily and easily available in the desktop of the people who are actually designing the projects, and need to supervise. So this is just one example of how you can we have taken help of technology. On the hardware and the software combination of technology, another example is we have another project where we are providing digital classrooms, in remote schools and education institutions in Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, in eastern part of India. Therein, we have used a gadget called KYAN, knowledge yarn, developed by IIT Mumbai, patented by IIT Mumbai, and there we have loaded the entire science, geography, maths, and English syllabus in the local language. And teachers have been trained how to use this KYAN. It's a projector, computer, several functions are there within this particular gadget. You can imagine it to be a portable projector. And then using the KYAN, now these government schools in rural India, they are actually having access to a digital classroom. So we have used hardcore technology in disseminating information, helping them get access to quality education. And there also, that is the implementation issue connected to this project, both at the conceptual level, designing this gadget itself, which is of course patented, but again the entire data, whether the class teacher, after we hand over them the KYAN and provide them training, whether the KYAN is being used properly or not, how many hours the KYAN was in use, that basically tells us at the office, and we know that okay, the schools are actually using the KYANs and they have used the KYANs for that many hours a day. So there we can monitor again using technology. The software is embedded in, and we can get those data. Another example I'll give you, we have a mobile dispensary project. It's a huge project. Therein we are covering over 2,000 odd camps. We are doing it, and just okay, sorry, we just got disconnected. So as I was saying, so we have this medical camp project. It's a huge project. We do around 2,000 camps a year in remote areas, where around 200 to 300 patients per camp we look after. In fact, over around 2 lakh patients a year. So it's a huge project, huge numbers, and you'll be very amazed that these mobile vans and the team which go to these villages, and they spend 5 to 6 hours a day and provide whatever healthcare that is part of this project, including lab tests. There are a lot of portable lab tests that can be done also. Now we have this project is implemented by Piramal Swast. So they have a very high-end software and database management, NMIS, through which they can capture, and they do capture each patient as a unique ID. So these are some of the examples how currently across the country where CSR is being implemented in rural India, using digital technologies, using equipments like the drone as a technology, using various softwares and various apps, using the social media which is available to us. Like, for example, we nowadays monitor CSR projects on the WhatsApp. On even things like small tools like WhatsApp locations. I used to monitor projects wherein we have this WhatsApp group, and when the people are working in the fields on various projects on education, health, skill building, and whatnot, I could easily track the movement of the people who are actually implementing. I know when they've reached the location to start with. So it's a very very basic tool in WhatsApp, just to understand that the project actually has started, is going on. And then, as I said, there were a lot of other sophisticated software tools also to capture data, to process data, to track projects, to monitor projects, share data to various agencies, the government agencies, whenever those reports and those data are needed to be shared. And as I say, there is financial responsibilities also to monitor how the budget has been utilized, to ensure that there is no leakage of funds. There also technology helps us in a huge way. So I think that way, especially the information technology revolution that has happened in our country, despite the fact that we have other issues of handling poverty or various other areas where we still need to improve. But I think the IT facility available even in remote areas, the cellular services are available now in remote parts of the country. That has helped us to integrate that itself as a technological aid, or integrate with other technology and help us in achieving our goal of in designing CSR, as I have said, in implementing CSR, in monitoring CSR, in tracking the implementation of CSR. In fact, when we do SROI, with the social, return on investment, impact assessment studies on CSR, we have now very good quality data. Big data is available with us, so that we can actually, do a very, very good SROI these days. So I think these are very, very good signs. I know my colleagues across the country who are implementing fantastic CSR projects, both by the private and the government sector and the PSUs. And when we meet each other on various forums, I have personally seen the last, over 2 decades I've been working in the CSR domain. I think the dependency on technology has increased, and the availability of technology in a reasonable fair price, which is now possible. I think I must say that although at times we do agree, but still, when you travel abroad, you realize that the cost of internet on the go, through our handsets, the cellular service costs are one of the most competitive in India compared to the rest of the world. Even many advanced countries, I think their cost of internet or mobile services will be much dearer than in India. So that way, I think these are the reasons why I feel so positive about the present as well as the future of India, and especially in context of how these 2,000 plus corporates in India, with around 25,000 crores of annual funds available for CSR, using this especially digital technology which we have in our hands now, that we can do a miracle. A lot of great things are happening, and as I say, in remote parts of the country, people are doing amazing work in the agro-based sector. We are also into a lot of agro-based projects. I will not get into the details of the project. All I'm saying is that phenomenal technology interventions have happened even in the primary areas like agriculture. So I think CSR is now rightfully so well integrated with technology. rightly dependent, and they're relying. That's a better word, I think. Relying on technology in designing effective, financially sustainable projects, projects that can be tracked in real time, that can be managed better, that can be monitored more effectively, generate data that can be shared across platforms to improve on projects, improve on deliverables. So I think, and for those who want to enter and work in the CSR domain, I think you also need to look into the possibility of honing your skills in certain areas connected to technology. Either you are the good old Excel, and beyond that there are various templates which are used nowadays for designing and monitoring and implementing CSR. So that's one area where you need to develop your skills. You can learn online also. You need to have an understanding, if you're designing CSR projects, on how various IT-enabled technology can help you in delivery of the CSR projects, both from design right up to monitoring. I think I'm on a rush today. I'm a little sorry. I wanted to give the entire stay with you for the entire 2-hour period, but sorry, I have another very important meeting. I had to literally rush, and I apologize for a little bit of internet issues, which was very unlikely, but Murphy's law, things go wrong when it shouldn't go. It shouldn't happen, it happens. Anyway, thanks that we could at least have this much of conversation. I thank you. I wanted to
thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Tridevji.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have another speaker with us, Ms. Charmi Shahji. She is a co-opted member of CSR Committee of WIRC, Women Member Empowerment Committee, CCBMP Committee of ICAI, co-opted member of Direct Tax Committee of WIRC. Also, she is a regular faculty at CSR certificate course at ICAI. She has also co-authored many books on different aspects of CSR. She will be taking a session on recent development in technology, which is going to impact CSR. Thank you. Over to you, Charmi ji.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhavna ma'am, for the kind words. And also thank you, Seva Sutra, for giving me the opportunity for posing interest in me and taking this topic. And the Tridev sir has taken the technology session very nicely. So I'll continue with the recent developments in technology, which is going to impact CSR work. So in 2014, the implementation of companies rule 2014, that are called the CSR rules, was a landmark move by India to make corporate social responsibility mandatory for companies falling under a specific category. So emerging as a force of change in the country, the CSR policy has brought much change. So the MCA, while notification dated 22nd January 2021, notified the Companies Amendment Rule, which provides amendment to the Companies Rule in relation to corporate social responsibility obligation required to be compiled with by the companies under Companies Act 2013. So amendment have made with the objective of bringing transparency and increase the accountability of the companies undertaking CSR activities. So barring a few business houses that have taken this responsibility extremely seriously for several decades, most companies in India have considered their responsibility towards the community as being limited simply to philanthropy. So as a result, their philanthropic efforts, although well-meaning, were carried out without any focus on driving specific actionable outcomes or a social change. So the consumer have changed dramatically over the last 10 years, and there have been 3 key drivers of change. Let's understand how companies are using these 3 drivers to grow their businesses. The first driver is technology. Facebook has 2.45 billion users. Instagram has 1 million users and 95 billion posts uploaded every day on Twitter. So continuing, we were like Twitter had 330 million users and Amazon sells 8.2 million products every day and generated a revenue of $2.8 billion in year 2019. What does it say? What does it tell us? That the next generation of customers are online, and that's where the company should be to reach them, to sell their products and not rely on TV or brick or mortar stores. So let us see how the companies are using technology. For example, we'll take a PNG is a global FMCG company present in more than 80 countries worldwide. So it sells products from detergents to grooming products like Gillette and has a revenue of $67 billion in 2019. So one of the popular brands of PNG is Tide. So Tide, one of the most popular detergent brand, generates revenue of $1 million. So this brand has a dedicated news desk that monitors social media chatters like on Twitter and joins in when it is relevant. For example, when Tide was used to clean up fuel spill in NASCAR race, the brand quickly ran social media ads with real news footage within 72 hours of incidents. So that's how they communicated with the customers. So even in offline businesses, they integrated technology with direct sales, which increased their sales by 1.5% just by introducing iPads for better visualizations of layout of floor designs by their store customers. In the same manner, the company Roche is a healthcare company that has a pharmaceutical division and a diagnostic division. So it faced a peculiar problem, although it had a direct contact with its customer, to its salespeople, but it also meant that they were heavily relied on salesperson who would go on the field to every customer, find out their problems, and then request and later updated on internal CRM software once a week or even once a month. So in some cases, that is computer would not salesperson updated it, which if delayed can cause a lot of problem. So the company started giving iPads to the salesperson for real-time data entry for improving quality of data as well. The second driver is globalization. The world is increasingly becoming one big supply chain where a product is made in one part of the country and it is consumed in another. For example, most of the electronic products are manufacturing in China and are sold 7,200 miles away in USA. So the companies are increasingly becoming global. That is being present in every country. So the lesson that they learn from one country, they try to replicate in another country. So for example, after years of little success with its premium ultrasound scanners in the Chinese market, scanner that address the country's unique market needs. And then later it began to successfully sell the products throughout the developed world for use of in ambulance and operating rooms where existing models were too big. Let's take the example of Unilever. Unilever is an FMCG company with 52 billion euros in revenue worldwide. So Unilever has set its sights on developing an emerging market, hoping to draw 70 to 75% of the businesses by 2020. So the company has also adopted reverse innovation by applying branding and packaging markets to recession-hit developed markets. What did they do in Spain? In Spain, they sell surf detergent in 5 wash packs. But in the Greece, it offers small mashed potatoes and mayonnaise in very small kind of packages for increasing their marketing. And the third key driver is the social responsibility. As companies are becoming more and more responsible towards the society, some companies include the Body Shop. Timberland and Patagonia are using social responsibility as a way to differentiate themselves from competitors, becoming consumer preference by building a noble image and increase their sales and products. So now technological progress have been a basic driver of development throughout human history, contributing decisively to the uh, development of humanity. So at the same time, the development of technology has been traditionally oriented through breakthrough technology goals. Modern technological visions, among others, like Industry 4.0, Industrial Internet Scheme, and Made in India 2025, have broadened the understanding of relationship between the technological and social issues in humankind development. So thus, CSR journey of Indian businesses have taken a new and welcome turn. Although with the existing financial and tax-related incentives with CSR companies and their stakeholders are realizing that there are more composite and far-reaching implementation of CSR for an organizational in the long term. Al Fitzgerald, when he said that corporate social responsibility is a hard-edged business decision, not because it's the nice thing to do or because people are forcing us to do it, but because it's a good thing for our businesses. So these words have hold considerable weight given how Unilever has achieved a distinctive position across the globe because of its highly focused and goal-oriented approach towards CSR. The technology, therefore, is a tool that can address the structural issues in the social sector and CSR domain and help social organizations develop and enhance their capability. So some of the solutions that this technological driven tools offer are: first is institutionalization of management system and processes. So IT and digitalization can prove to be highly capable tools when it comes to managing social development programs. So digitalizing and automating workflows can help streamline resource utilization using the simple dashboards and systematic knowledge management. So such digitalized system and solution allow NGOs to link to the internal team members to their specific roles and responsibilities and make sure that they are accomplished according to the plan. So additionally, building technological driven solution for a social sector with a human centric design approaches makes them usable by a workforce with limited formal education or technical training also. The second point comes to connectivity. Connectivity, or we can say matching concept. The one major problem faced by both NGOs and corporates is identifying the right partners to collaborate with. While on one hand, NGOs seek sponsors with the ability to provide the necessary resources, corporates want good and credible social organizations that have a strong and visible track record to work with. So the technology-driven platforms allow both stakeholders to find the right partners through an efficient system that matches them on the basis of project types, marketplace, data, past performance, etc. The third point is monitoring. So in the absence of efficient monitoring tools, NGOs and corporates are unable to view how a project is progressing and whether it is delivering the expected outcome or not. So in addition to this, replicating the impact of a program executed in the past at the scale of a new project is another challenge for both CSR teams and NGOs often face. And tech-driven monitoring tools that can organize data from reliable sources and provide useful insights in real time can solve a huge problem in CSR domain. The fourth part is reporting part, where technology plays a very important role. The lack of tools to accurately measure and report the impact of project in detail is a major challenge most in NGOs face today. So thus from the planning and the budgeting stage to the execution of project and finally monitoring and measuring their impact, automation can significantly reduce the administrative burden on sponsors and NGOs by making reporting of project data and performance completely technological driven. So especially since it is mandatory for larger companies to disclose their CSR policies, projects, programs they undertake, how much they are spending and report it accurately for both legal and tax compliance. In addition to collecting a curative data from various sources, digitalized management solution can also help gather useful insights from project and present it in the form of detailed reports, all with the help of automation and analytics. So now, company currently spends a lot of money and time, efforts, resources to prepare corporate social reports, but how many are actually read that report? Without integration of CSR into business processes and without CSR reporting bringing tangible value, this annual exercise becomes a drain on companies' resources. So emerging technology can help make reporting easier, address the main data challenges of reporting, and many companies still carry out cumbersome manual data collection, compilation, and reporting procedures. So this is the time ineffective, involves a large amount of efforts and can lead to poor quality finding or inaccuracy. So a number of immediate improvement can result from adoption of technological enhanced CSR reporting approach. So now here are the five key technological trends that sustainability practitioners need to be aware of. Real-time data equals real-time stakeholder scrutiny. That comes to according to the Global Reporting Initiative, Sustainability and Reporting Trends in 2025 report. This will result in a new role of stakeholders who will now have a direct impact on development of corporate governance and strategy. So new technology now allows companies to collect real-time data and automate the data collection processes. So this foreshadows the demise of annual CSR reports, which are usually at least 3 months out of the date by the time they are published. The second is information age. The new information age enables organizations and individuals alike to produce and disseminate their own data analysis and findings through diverse media channels like videos, interactive infographics, virtual reality, complementing more traditional reporting methods such as annual CSR reports. So virtual reality, for instance, is one of the innovative way to provide communities and different stakeholders with new ways to engage with and build awareness of sustainability issues. So brewing giant Hinascus, for instance, launched an interactive sustainability report called Brewing a Better World, in which key information was presented via GIFs. So Italian construction group Salini Impragio had included a number of interactive CSR KPIs on its website, while Waste Management, a Houston-based waste disposal company, used online interactive sustainability. And one more example we can take is of Hong Kong-based utilities CLP, which features interactive charts tracking the company's environmental, social, and governance performance on its website. Coming on to the third point, technology leads to more integrated sustainability practices. So the technology can also act as an enabler for businesses to adopt a more coherent and integrated reporting framework. So technology can have a particularly transformative impact on supply chain management, making it possible for businesses and stakeholders to establish a more comprehensive and undertaking of relationship between an organizational supply chain and its sustainability impact. So for Some prominent examples of technological enabled supply chain mapping includes Patagonia footprints chloricals, which maps and trace all the companies, mills, factories, and farms, ensuring a seamless production network. So, Thread International is another initiative which powered by SourceMap, a supply chain platform that allows brands and manufacturers to gain visibility into the end-to-end supplier network so as to better access performance and risk. So technological enabled integrated reporting allows businesses to explore and benefit from the interconnection between organizational strategy, governance, and economical performance on one hand, and the social environmental context of the company's operation. So the fourth point is data technology. Big data will transform sustainability measurement. So the big data enabled dynamic, accessible, and real-time CSR reporting is becoming the norm. So sustainability performance data can now be collected and analyzed by technology such as blockchain, big data, artificial intelligence, allowing organization and consumer alike to understand and find the correlations between what would otherwise be complex and unintelligible strategy. So the growth of big data analytics facilitates big picture sustainability reporting, providing useful tools to measure and analyze the traditional intangible ESG indicators in a more coherent and integrated manner. The fifth and the last point is artificial intelligence can help drive sustainable businesses. So the final and perhaps most elusive trend defining the future of corporate sustainability is the role of artificial intelligence. This is because artificial intelligence is often unpredictable and has wide-ranging potential to transform multiple industries and business sectors. So indeed, the rate of technological innovation to adjust and adapt to this new development. So the one company, eRevalue, has developed an AI tool that would provide fast, efficient, powerful business intelligence on large unstructured data sets from global corporate reporting landscape. While innovations like that this are yet to become mainstream, technology is certain to have tangible impact on how businesses record, report, and ultimately implement sustainability within its operation. So the business objective and social responsibility for a corporate should be two sides of the same coin in the interest of the society as a whole and the business in the most efficient and sustainable manner. So corporates across the world agree that their business objective and social responsibility aren't watertight compartments. The latter has a significant impact on the former. So for this relationship to be further strengthened in a win-win situation, there's only one way, that is leveraging technology. So there is a huge potential of technology in strategizing, planning, managing and reporting the CSR programs, thereby propelling their journey towards greater impact. So for companies who wish to break away from traditional way of doing and managing CSR, technology is going to be the game changer in the long term or long run. This circle of social depth, so data-driven intelligence is the dearth in the sector, which makes it challenging for corporates to strategize the usage of their fund for business responsibility initiatives. So among the practical implementation is the forefront inclusion of technology in the treatment of CSR and sustainability development of the society as a whole. This implies that more attention should be given to interdisciplinary and multifunctional consideration of development and technological advancement in the modern society. So this further implies that we need to change our understanding of technology and its importance in the development of the society. So with this, I end up my presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Charmi ji, for your lovely presentation on this. Now we have with us Deepak ji.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Deepak ji has a 10-year of experience in data science and also involved in analytics and business modeling, and also he's a chartered accountant and certified forensic professional. He was part of Empowered Committee which drafted the forensic accounting standard for ICAI and is here to share his view on CSR software. Over to you, Deepak ji.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll quickly share my screen. Would urge the participants. I'll quickly share my screen. Before sharing my screen, I would I would like to make this an interactive session. So we are I guess 21 participants, and excluding me, it's around 19 or 20 odd participants that we are here. So if you guys can write in the chat box what according to you are top 2 or top 3 major problems any CSR activities of corporates or you can say non-corporates face. So from there we can take the discussion ahead. So feel free to use the chat box, write whatever you want. You understand that these are the major pain points when it comes to implementing the CSR initiatives of corporates and non-corporates. I'll wait for a couple of minutes for you to start writing in the chat box. Anything you feel you need to write here, any problem with respect to CSR activities being conducted, any problem. Yeah, I guess we would have the access of putting our comments in the chat box, right?
Yes, sir, we have that access.
Yeah, anything, whatever you feel that can be operational issue, non-operational issue with respect to implementing the CSR activities. Anything, nothing as of yet. Nothing as of yet. I'm still waiting. So we have 20 participants and we have not yet received a single problem in CSR. Yes, we got one. Competence as to what is the requirements. Okay. So Vikash, let us start with your question, and others feel free to jump in and put your comments in the chat box. So when I say competence as to what is the requirement, so basically you mean to say the people who are at the execution level, they would not understand fully what is the ask that are being entrusted onto them. Is my understanding correct?
Actually, it is people, the organizations, they are doing CSR activities because it is a norms according to law. But actually, they don't know for which sector of the society and what is the need of the society that they need to put in. Suppose
Okay.
now random blood bank, blood donation camp is going on, random normal health checkup is going on, but that is actually needed or not, that people that the corporate doesn't know, because these are the normal things. Now a common man doesn't require means health checkup as regard weight and BMI and BP and all. Everybody can do it at their nearby government dispensary, or people who are little educated, upper class, middle class and above, they have their instruments at home only. And blood bank
Absolutely correct.
and blood bank is the random thing going on. कुछ भी करना है तो बस हाँ blood donation, whether it's required or not.
Absolutely correct, Vikash. Absolutely correct. So this is one big problem which various corporates they have. They take CSR activities to be a burden on them, a cost center for them, right? Rather than as social obligations. Not all, obviously, because there are corporates who diligently and vehemently follow the CSR activities. They track and trace all those CSR activities that are being undertaken by their organization. But there are some who basically consider that to be a burden, and because it's a cost center for them, that's not generating revenue, right? But it indirectly generates revenue, and we'll understand how it does, right? So I have been involved in conducting various CSR audits during my stint in Ernst& Young. Uh, and one of the major problem that we witnessed in these CSR activities taken care by corporates are there is a very big difference between what has been agreed and decided and what is being executed at the ground level, right? So execution and monitoring uh, has been one of the pain points that these CSR activities has to undergo. So I'll take a couple of case studies later on. That is one with respect to open defecation project, which was taken by one of the corporate, for which I happen to be the CSR auditor, and the other project was education for the children in the local area, right? So these two CSR activities is where I was part of the audit team, and we'll talk about what were the problems that were faced during these audits, and how technology can uh, you know uh, do away with these problems, mitigate these problems, and actually give the fruitful impact of CSR activities that the organizations are trying to encompass. With this, I'll share my screen. Let me know when my screen is visible. I think it's visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, technology as a game changer for CSR. We have been talking about technology in almost all the sphere of business activities, non-business activities, starting from production to sales, to medical, to insurance. Everywhere there is abundance of technology use by the businesses. But very rarely, or I to my knowledge, I never have had an opportunity to attend or deliberate in a session where the topic is technology for the CSR activities. Now, because of these um, use of technology not being promoted in these CSR activities, there are huge amount of business problem, operational problem that this CSR activities and execution has to face. So it is imperative, and it is time right now to use the fruitfulness of technologies, be it artificial intelligence, be it data analytics, be it data science, be it robotic process automation, be it drone services, right? Be it image processing. Okay, so these sort of CSR activities can be monitored, can be tracked during the course of execution. So this is the agenda for today. We would understand some basic concepts about use of technology in CSR activities, how it impacts CSR, and um, predominantly how analytics is being used by CSR executives in conducting their day-to-day operations. Now, for every businesses operating within our territory of Indian territory, it's a obligation, I would say, or as a social responsibility for them to devote or carve out some sort of their income and revenue with respect to the social responsibility that they have, with respect to the area that they are operating, with respect to the people that they are employing, or the people who are residing nearby, in their vicinity. So it becomes, so business objectives and social responsibility, I would say they are the two sides of the same coin. um, Social responsibility many a times has been incorporated as one of the agendas in the annual report for organizations. You talk about big organizations like ITC, like Tata, like HUL. All these companies, they have dedicated set of number of pages to basically capture their social corporate social responsibility activities that they have undertaken. So that is the impact of CSR that the company or the organizations they undertake on our society. So this relationship has to be further strengthened to have a win-win situation for both the cases, for both the for the companies as well as for the recipient of these services. And one major, what you can say, need for the R is leveraging the technology, right? Because the corporates, the CSR budgets are approved, policies are framed, sitting in the air conditioned chambers of the corporates, and the execution happens at the ground level, at the grassroots level. And the use of technology is very limited, I should say negligible, in bridging the gap between the people who are framing the policies versus the people who are deploying those policies at the ground level. And because of this lack of interaction, many a times these activities fail. The policies that are being framed by the organization becomes fruitless for the society. So in order to bridge the gap between these two sections, these two ends, technology plays a very big role. Technology plays a very big role. With this, predominantly there are four areas where the use of technology can be leveraged in order to have these CSR programs and activities conducted in an efficient way. The first is strategizing. So as currently stated by Vikas, uh, there are scenarios when people framing those policy does not even know what are the problems associated with the neighboring people. Okay, they would randomly go for a blood donation camp, they would randomly go for a health checkup. Okay, that is predominantly because they have not understood the problem of the people out there. Okay, and how technology can help in this scenario is, you can reach send out people who would start making the survey of the local people, with the local people. Now, in order to capture the problems in an efficient way, there are several technologies which you can leverage in order to capture the issues of the people. One is, you can either create as simple as Google Forms to capture the responses of the people. So you send out one person of yours, one survey person to a specific region. He reaches out to every door, understands the problem of the people, and punches the problem in the Google Docs that are shared. Those the survey forms that are created using the as simple as Google Docs document. So the moment you capture those problems in that survey form, it gets captured and stored at the back end in the data warehouse level, which can be used by these policy makers to understand the exact problem of the people and channelize the money, or segregate the money which can be utilized for the solution of that specific problem, rather than you know uh, creating a blood donation boot camp and reaching out to people for their health checkup. Okay, as simple as survey forms, and as high as artificial intelligence. Now, how how artificial intelligence is being leveraged here. We all would have understood and have interacted with someone named Siri or Alexa or Hey Google, right? So all these technologies that I have talked about is uh, working under the concept of natural language processing. And nowadays, I don't think there would be, people who would not be using a smartphone, or who would be not well versed using any application, right? There are people who are creating TikTok videos, not the and there was a trend where the TikTok videos and the Instagram reels were being created more by the rural people rather than urban people, right? So you can understand, even the rural people, they are now well acclimatized with the technology, use of smartphone, use of applications, right? So you can have something called conversational AI based chatbot, which can be used in order to capture the feedbacks or the pain points of the people residing in an area. There is no need to send person door to door. You just ask the people to download the application and start putting in their complaints. Okay. And your chatbot will interact similarly to a person like that particular person of yours would have interacted. Okay. So there is no human intervention. There is no manual and physical a touch, right? And because of this change in the new normal scenario, people people, they are not welcoming others visiting, right? So that's where these conversational AI based chatbots can be leveraged, right? So this is how we can use a simple technology of survey forms using Google Docs to as high as AI based application of conversational AI based chatbots, right? So it can help you in strategizing and planning your CSR activities. Same with the managing stuff. Now I would cite one example here. In one of the CSR audits that I had undertaken, um, the the ask was to create a certain length and the breadth road in the village area. Now, obviously, the construction was entrusted to a particular vendor who was local hero. I would say local hero. So because of his arms power and muscle power, the CSR audit people who were reaching out to those particular villages, they were not making investigation or looking at the implementation of the work that was done. The drainage was supposed to be certain feet depth, certain width of the there was certain width that has to be followed for the construction of the drainage. So all those audits were not being conducted, and even if the auditors would go there, because of the muscle power of the local person, they would refrain from highlighting those areas. So how technology can be helpful in managing and reporting this sort of activities, right? Say for example, I am a CSR auditor. I go to a particular village and I have to do an inspection of that same road, right? I would use those measuring tapes to measure the length and the breadth, what is the width of the concrete that was laid, right? What was the quality of the soil that was used, the sand that was used, all these things, right? I can do it manually, but instead of doing it manually, I can also leverage the power of artificial intelligence to do these activities. And how? There is something called computer vision. Okay, computer vision, with the help of which you do something called image processing. Okay, image processing. So what I would do, I would simply have to take the picture of that particular road and upload that picture in the AI application. Okay, now AI application, based on what it has learned historically, Okay, it will give me automatically what is the length of the road, what is the breadth of the road, what is the width of the concrete layment, what is the quality, how good how good is the soil and the sand which has been used. Okay, all these features will be given by this AI application. So you see, it smoothens the work of the a person who goes and does the survey. It removes the chances of using muscle power against the surveyor, against this reporting, right? So you can understand how technology is helping us as an auditor or organizations, corporates, to develop these sort of corporate CSR policies, activities, and monitoring them. Okay, so this is the power of technology that we are talking about. How technology can catalyze efforts to achieve desired impact. So this is what we talked about, starting from execution to monitoring to reporting to learning from those outcomes. Okay, say for example, in any part of the country where you are to deploy your CSR activities, something has happened in that area uh, 5 or 10 years back, right? Now, if you use to capture those happenings manually in a sheet of paper, they may get burned, right? But what if you store the data, store the reason of that mishappenings in a data warehouse, okay, in a database? So you can understand 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, if you are again wanting to conduct any CSR activity of similar nature in that particular area, you have that report that what went wrong 5 years or 10 years back. So you can understand how technology is impacting or enabling us to learn from our historical uh, good impacts as well as bad impacts, right? It also is helping us to strategize the policies that we are framing. With this, I'll take one example of open defecation project which was undertaken by this corporate for which we did the CSR audit. So they had for every two houses they had planned that they would create one sanitation outlet which would be used by the people, right? And again, when we visited physically, obviously first of all we were not allowed to enter in that particular area, right? We had couple of instances where we were literally threatened to get out of the village. So what we did was, with the help of the drones, the images were taken, okay, and with the help of those images, it was ascertained how many ODF projects implementation were done in that particular area. Okay, so you can understand how technology helped us in order to identify whether the implementation and the execution was happening in a better way. Now, we are running short of time. I'll touch base on this analytics part of it. How CSR analytics has become critical nowadays. Since I am now more involved with the analytics, services, data science, AI, ML services. So I'll talk about how analytics is being, leveraged in the CSR activities. Analytics can be as simple as 2 plus 2 equals to 4, as well as complex as using the statistical learning of correlation, regression, linear programming, all those stuff, right? So whenever these activities are taken, what is the impact of those activities in numeric terms, in quantitative terms? Okay, what is the impact Say, for example, if I am, I have created a project of educating children till class 5, what is the qualitative and quantitative impact it is having on the local people, on the people who are residing in that region? How can you ascertain? Until and unless you have data with you, until and unless you have analytical people residing in your organization and using those data points to understand the outcome of the project, it is very, very difficult to go and do the survey and assess, right? So the impact and the necessity of CSR activity becomes imperative. It becomes necessary. Couple of behavioral economists named George Akerlof and Robert Schiller, they have this mindset or understanding that human psychology plays a very critical role in understanding the consumer behavior, right? Why do someone go out and purchase your product when he or she knows that your product is impacting the environment, impacting the living beings, impacting the wild animals? Why will they go and get the or buy your product? That's where the power of analyzing consumer behavior becomes very much necessary, right? And this is how big companies like you know uh, HUL, ITC, Tata, they are doing something called sentiment analysis or emotion analysis, right? Many a times what happens is you get a product, you see the content of the product, and the product says that it contains gluten, right? And we all know gluten is damaging for us. It's like a I shouldn't say damaging. It very, very slowly and steadily degrades our tooth cavity, our blood structure, all those stuff. I'm not going into the medical, but somehow those gluten products are impacting us medically. Now if I know these conditions, and if I put forward or do a complaint to any of the organizations who are creating products based out of gluten, what they are doing is they are reviewing those feedbacks coming from thousands and lakhs of consumers, and they're trying to understand the sentiment or the emotion of the people who are basically drafting these feedbacks, reviews, or complaints, right? If they are able to understand that there is negative feedback grossly, or a negative sentiment. Negative feedback is totally different from negative sentiment. Okay, negative sentiment is basically giving you a holistic negative picture of your organization. So if the organization understand that there is a negative sentiment amongst the people about my product, they very quickly change the content of the product, okay, or create some sort of brand awareness amongst the people, right? So you can understand how these human psychology or the sentiments or the emotions impacts their behavior. So people, the organizations, they are, and nowadays, because of people being aware about the environmental impact, aware about what drawback your or what hamper or what effect your organization has on mother nature, they have become very much aware. So their emotions, their sentiments, their behavior needs to be analyzed with respect to how they are feeling about your product, with respect to the CSR, or with respect to the nature, the atmosphere that they are living in. So that's how I have seen big corporates using analytics, or you can say CSR analytics, to understand whether their product is having a negative and adverse impact on mother nature or on the environment, uh, which is in turn they can shape their CSR activities in order to instill the confidence of the brand in the minds of the consumer. Now, with this, I would say, if the organizations, I'm talking about big organizations, and the CSR audits that I've done is for as big as 1,000 crore to 2,000 crore, 3,000 crore turnover, right? Being such big companies, even the top 10 or top 20 companies that we talk about, having big CSR activities conducted, they too are facing issues in terms of execution, strategizing, planning, monitoring of the CSR project. They have started their journey embracing the technology. They have started their work in making their people literate about technology, upskilling their people in-house to how to use the technology, as well as educating the people in the region, and educating them how to use the technology and leverage the technology for their betterment. It is very much necessary for others, small and medium enterprises as well, to start their journey and embrace the technology for their CSR activities. With this, I'll close for the day. Here are my credentials. You are, feel free to reach out to me anytime, any part of the day, for your queries, for your concerns, and I would be more than happy to clarify and resolve them. If you have any concern, any query right now, feel free to short those questions with me. Any question, please feel free to unmute and discuss, or you can use the chat box as well. I think we're good then. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Deepak ji. Yeah, Vikash, you have to say something.
Yeah, first I want to, people should be in CSR. I do find less people. See, generally all CSR activities that are done is basically comprising of medical treatment, blood donations, and spiritual activities like sponsoring some pujas and all. People are less ever aware of the holistic needs of an individual as regards to their state of the body, state of the mind, state of the emotions, state of the thoughts. And we being from a background of Vedic culture and a diversified religion, so and our healing process and all are derived from our ancient scriptures, be it be it Ayurveda or be it energy sciences like Reiki, acupressure, acupuncture, and pranic healing. So they people should be made aware of these things are. And people, if they get aware of these things, then there is less need. People become self-aware of their physical body, mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body. Then there is less need of these hospitals and all, because people are forgetting all about all this stuff.
Very well said, Vikas. So how this, so we happen to work with big pharma companies like Dr. Reddy's, Cipla's, Sun Pharma, Abbott, and how, say, for example, diabetes, right? Diabetes is one chronic conditions which may lead to several diseases. So how these people, these big pharma companies, they're leveraging technology and educating people is they are basically, sending recommended, quick bites to the people to make them aware what are the do's and don'ts for you if you are a diabetic person, right? So similar, and they're using something called recommendation engine, right? They send you a text message. If you open the text message, spend certain time reading that, it means you are interested, right? So next time when they would send some similar blogs or a content or a quick bites similar to your previous, red thing. So that's how they are leveraging the technology of recommendation engine, which, in your cases, in your case, can also be, leveraged, sending out those quick bites to the people and making them aware about those, healing culture, those healing, medications, and make them aware to basically get this acceptance increased.
Interrupt you, sir. Sir, see, basically, I'm into healing practices also. I've learned because I had a varied interest. So basically, whatever disease manifest in the physical body is due to psychomatic factors, first of all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So meditation plays a very important role. And nowadays also meditation has become very popular, but they are more of an entertainment sort, not serious meditation. If people do serious meditation, their psychomatic problems are getting solved, then it won't manifest as disease in the body. So less people are doing this. And as far as healing practices are concerned, no hospitals in India as of now, in Calcutta, as much as I know, 99% are not having energy healing techniques, because in US, I know of my relatives in US also who are in doctors, who are physical practitioners. They energy healing techniques, and a special department is there for pranic healing and other energy healing techniques, because people must be ready to first know about it. And it is not a robotic science, very hi-fi, or a medical science, very complicated. It is very easy to understand.
Correct.
So
absolutely correct, Vikash.
If you want, I can send you the link of all this stuff, so that if our group, if this group of people get to know about it, become aware about it, then they will out of 20, maybe 1 or 2 will learn, and that will spread out. And this is how it spreads.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, Vikash.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepak ji. Thank you so much for your such a detailed vision on the subject. You have given us a detailed insight onto the subject, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for inviting me. And obviously it is one of the webinars that I have attended. I have spoken to a lot of people in a lot of conferences and sessions on use of technology on other areas. And I just said, I think this is the first one I am involved talking on CSR activities, right? And I mean, there is lot of areas where use of technology can be leveraged in CSR activities. Huge opportunity and huge benefit as well, right? So yeah, congratulations to the team that at least you guys started this phenomena of discussing the use of technology in such a neglected area of CSR, I should say.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure.
So with this, we end the session here. Thank you so much.